It was one of those quiet Sunday evenings, the kind where the world feels slower, softer, and almost too peaceful to be real. The golden light of sunset filtered through the curtains, and the sound of distant rain blended with the ticking of the clock on the wall. Emma sat alone by the window, a cup of tea in her hand. The tea had already gone cold, but she didn't notice. She was lost in her thoughts, memories of the past, of promises once made and never kept. Her phone vibrated on the wooden table beside her. The screen lit up. David calling. A faint smile appeared on her face. It had been days since they last spoke. She hesitated for a second, watching his name flash across the screen. She reached for the phone, but her hand slipped. The phone fell to the floor, bouncing once before the screen went dark. By the time she picked it up, the call had already ended. She sighed softly. "I'll call him back later," she thought. It was such a simple thought, so ordinary, so harmless. She had no idea that this tiny delay would change everything. Outside, the rain grew heavier. The sound of thunder rolled across the sky as darkness filled the room. Emma lit a candle and leaned back in her chair, unaware that somewhere miles away, David was driving down a slippery road trying to call her again, but the call never went through. That night, at 10:47 p.m., David's car lost control on a sharp turn. The next morning, Emma's phone rang again, this time not from him. It was the call no one ever wants to answer. A trembling voice on the other end told her that David was gone. Just like that. For a long moment, she didn't move, didn't cry, didn't speak. She just stared at the phone, the same phone that still showed one notification, one missed call from David. Days passed in silence. Emma stopped answering calls. She barely ate, barely slept. She would sit by that same window every night, listening to the rain, as if it carried the echo of his voice. Friends came with flowers and words of comfort, but none of it could reach her. She wasn't ready to heal. She wasn't ready to forget. One evening, weeks later, she picked up her phone again. Her fingers trembled as she scrolled through old messages. Laughter, jokes, love, all frozen in little bubbles of text. Then she saw something she hadn't noticed before. A voicemail from David left just minutes before the accident. Her heart started to race. For a long time, she couldn't press play. When she finally did, his voice filled the room, calm, warm, and heartbreakingly alive. He said he was on his way home, that he couldn't wait to see her. He apologized for their last fight. And then just before the message ended, he said 3 simple words, words that echoed through her soul. "I love you." The message cut off. Static followed, and then silence. Emma fell to her knees. Tears streamed down her face as she clutched the phone to her chest. It was the last time she ever heard his voice. Days turned into months. She couldn't bring herself to delete that message. Every few weeks she would play it again, listening to the way he said her name, the way he laughed softly at the end. It became her way of keeping him alive. Years passed. Emma moved to a new house, started a new life, but she always carried that phone, old, cracked, and fading, because inside was a voice from another time. And every year, on that same rainy night, she would light a candle, sit by the window, and play the voicemail once more. She no longer cried. She smiled, because in that moment, she didn't feel alone. Love never really leaves. Sometimes it just lingers, in missed calls, in old voicemails, and in the soft sound of rain against the window.